Okay, honestly, I can't really say that this looks really appealing. In fact, I would so totally not come here as a tourist if I saw these pictures. It's trying to be somewhat pretty, somewhat cozy, but you know, November is the shit month. November and February especially are the two shit months in the Nordics. So this is Europe and this is Turku, aka Suomen persreikä, as it's called by everybody else in Finland except for people in Turku. The river in the middle is called Aurajoki. It divides up the city into two parts, this side of the river and that side of the river. Yeah, okay, so the GoPro is really trying to relight this scenario. It's so much darker here than it seems, and it's just getting darker. So this is the Pharmacy Museum. I'm not sure if it's closed due to Corona, because this is actually not the entrance. The entrance is at the back, but it looks pretty darn cool to me. This is the center of the center, and I'm gonna be taking you through an adventure, starting at the foundation blocks of Turku up by the river bank here. This is where the first establishments, the first church and whatever you could call it at that time, was built in 1200 and something. So this place is ancient, and you are not allowed to build anything here. Obviously, you're also not allowed to pick up any stones due to archaeological reasons. That's where the city is. This is sort of like a dig site, I guess. And on the way here there's this outdoor gym which I sometimes use. Okay, why on earth am I showing whatever this darkness here in the middle of creeping nowhere? It is because I want to show you this little light installation which is designed with sensors to light up whenever there's somebody walking here. And the more you move around, the more lights. Wah! Yeah, I'm jumping around like an idiot. Wah! Now I got all these lights. And then they turn off afterwards. Let's do this again. I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. So the outer river continues onward, but I'm actually not gonna walk all the way up here because it's a long way. There's a sort of a hippie park located by the river. There's like wooden statues, some of them carved, some made by chainsaw. And there is a fix-it-yourself bike shop here somewhere as well. There we go. As well as vegan food trucks and cafes. And here's where the river gets shallow as there's a dam up ahead. It's pretty cold today, slightly sub-zero. I chose to start off with these pictures so as to ease y'all into what a dump this place can actually look like. See that water oozing, like letting off steam? It's the sudden cold. And there's frost and some ice as well. Like you can see. I don't know how these flowers manage to grow. They're super warriors. I guess it kind of looks nice like this. So anyways, getting back into town, let me take you on the Coccola Hill, where the most notorious prison of Finland once was located. Well, the building's still there, but it's just not a prison anymore. Here's where the most dangerous criminals stayed: murderers, rapists, child doctors, etc. It's now made into apartments, expensive ones. So a prison made into apartments, why is that interesting? Well, it's not, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to buy the best rye bread you can ever get in these parts, sold in a cafe that operates here. It's difficult to even find this stupid place, and the bread is like €4 a puck, meaning a loaf, but it's shaped like a Corona puck. But the bread is so worth it. This ex-prison has a store outside where you can buy craft made by inmates from different prisons. So I'm kind of thinking they might be breaking some copyright thing when they write Coccola on these wooden butter knives. False advertising, man! Oh yeah, and these would-be prison drinking cups, they're nicer than the ones I had in school when I was a kid. Now off to the next Turku madness scandal, the funiculari, which is an elevator trolley thingy that brings people up and down the hill, in case somebody doesn't want to use the stairs. This gizmo cost a fortune.
It has this one job.
Ended up never working. Not so long ago, people got trapped inside for hours. Oh well, I'll take my chances. It's slow. Like super duper slow. But it looks fancy. I'm guessing that was a selling point.
Så mycket elektronik för så ingenting. Men här är ett hus.
Ovet sulkeutuvat. Dörrarna stängs. The doors are closing.
Under coronatider har man faktiskt tid att göra sånt här.
Hissi on käynnistynyt. Hissen har startat.
One long downhill ride later. From here down to here. The next step is to cross the river by ferry, the Aura ferry. Ferry has safety instructions written in 3 languages: Turku dialect, Finnish, and Swedish. Whoopee! How exciting! Further up ahead, there's some bridges that you can cross. This bridge was raised again after the old one literally started hanging. This is the theater bridge. It's been decorated with Christmas stuff and sound installation now, it's kind of nice actually. A little further up ahead, the main library lies, which was expanded and renovated a few years back. It's pretty big now and it's quite popular actually. They have photo exhibitions here as well, which are super cool. When you book or order books online, they will end up on a shelf with your name on them. It's quite popular. This is the children's section. There are books here in various languages. And by various languages, I mean So, Albanian, huh? The title is still in Swedish for some reason. The rest of the DVD was Albanian though. Alfons Åberg. This is an awesome kids book by a Swedish author. I used to read it when I was a kid. I'm a little careful how I film here, as there are a bunch of kindergarten kids on a field trip to this library today. We used to do this when I was a kindergarten too. At that time the library wasn't quite so fancy. When you check out a book, you put it into this awesome machine, which scans it and gives you auditory feedback in the form of some laughing gnome. And of course, there are Lego installations on display. And books in vitrines. And this is my favorite, Legion of Samurai and Clones of Jeeves, and it's led by Batman. There's an upstairs as well, with archives. You could get squished in here. So what do people in Finland like to read? These are newcomers. And then there's that everlasting fascination with totalitarian regimes and dictators. So I'm going back downstairs through the newspaper section and the computer section into the old part of the library. This is actually the main entrance. They put up video installations on the walls here. I suppose it's what one can do using words or something. So, corona-wise, where are we? There's an outbreak in cases. I think it was like 3 or 4 consecutive days with over 400 cases each. So they're tightening measures and talking about closing down Uusimaa, which is the Helsinki region, again. So stronger mask recommendations and daily press conferences and so on. Sweden's government is actually also tightening measures now after they finally dumped the advice from the health authorities. Okay, back to prettier pictures. Here we're behind the cathedral. These parts are quite old, I guess, meaning the whole town burned down to the ground about 200 years ago. And here's McDonald's, which is a bit funny to mark up on a Finnish map, since McDonald's is probably the least visited place in Turku, along with all the unwanted parking caves. One of the few places in the world where McDonald's is actually losing money. It's not that Finns prefer food in front of McDonald's, it's that there's a competing chain called Hesburger, or Hese for shortening, that has ruled the fast food world here for quite some time. Here's a picture of how greatly these two differ. I don't eat at neither one of those places. No judgment to anybody who does. And here's what's left of the market, the Turku, due to the construction of this hole, which is to be another empty parking cave, they say. Now, the cathedral looks like this. And what's this calming music? Well, tonight they're having a memorial and candle lighting for the memory of people who took their own lives. You simply go up to the altar one by one and light a candle for a loved one, a lost loved one.
I'm not gonna go in because obviously everybody understands why I'm not gonna go in filming that right now. Well, the ladies' bathrooms, church. What am I saying? The bathroom in the ladies' church looks like this. In case anybody was wondering. So, right here, you see that manhole over there? Perhaps you don't in this GoPro. That's where usually, for every Christmas, the city raises a huge ass Christmas tree. It can be like 20 meters high. It's huge.
The cathedral looks like this in daylight. It's used for services, concert, etc. and the ambience and acoustics here are wonderful. On December 13th, we celebrate Lucia, a kind and charitable martyr, later saint, who brought food to the persecuted Christians hiding in the catacombs. Lucia, or Lucia, a bringer of light. So every year a local Lucia is chosen to represent this martyr with her posse of musicians and choir singers. They go from place to place, elder care homes, kindergartens and so on, even prisons, and they sing and spread the Christmas joy, and they perform here in the cathedral. This chamber has been made into a child-friendly room, church style. Mikael Agricoli is sort of the literacy patron of the Finnish language. Walking again around in Turku after dark, which is around 4 o'clock in November, here's a parking cave again.
So no, this is not the infamous parking cave. This is actually another infamous parking cave, also in the center of the city. I think we have maybe 2 or 3 parking caves and 2 separate garages in the middle of the city, you know, in case anybody wants to park 100 cars at the same time, because they're always empty.
These little dollhouse figures are made by an association that displays their creations each Christmas. The details are so awesome, they've really put effort into the smallest little thing, including the brands of the stuff used or sold in the scenes. It's very typically Finnish, except for the guy in the back selling glühwein and pretzels. That would be glöggi and pipari, or gingerbread. Glöggi, or glögg, resembles a German glühwein. We sell it with or without alcohol, and there's many kinds of glöggi to choose from, both red and white wine based, and there's of course spirit-based glöggi as well. Swedes make really good glögg. Finland is almost catching up.
They used to display their stuff, Christmas stuff, at a cafeteria that went into konkurs. It got bankrupt during Corona. But the thing is, it was like everybody wanted to watch those things in their windows, but nobody actually went into the cafeteria. So, you know, it might have been that as well. These sort of concept stores, there are a lot of these sort of concept stores. Handicraft, although albeit it being very well made, it's very expensive. It's very costly. This is a classic music shop. It's been here like forever. Sadly, all the music shops have more or less vanished in Stockholm, and online shopping has taken over and they just got bankrupt. But this one keeps fighting, and I think it's great. I used to have these when I learned to play piano when I was, a long time ago. People here actually still learn how to play instruments by notation, which is something that's very rare in Sweden. And believe you me, I work with music, so I would know it's not something that's trendy anymore.
During my stay in Turku, I lost my bag somewhere and I went to the Lost and Found station to get it. It's located in the parking garage of a building at Länsikeskus, or Western Center. Sort of an outlet, if you can call it that. It's ugly as fudge.
It's a cool place, but if the idea is to spend money to drive all the way out here just to pay less for some stuff, then that kind of beats the purpose. But I bicycled, so.
There are some secondhand shops there, which is a thing that's becoming more and more trendy in all of the Nordics, I guess. Well, I'll leave with these wonderful horrid scenes of not super pretty Turku in November, so enjoy!